as a Nigerian woman, we have peculiar challenges. You are largely oppressed. You get treated differently based on your genders. I come from a pretty liberal family. Most of the challenges a lot of women face, I didn't have to face them. I don't have to face them. But as much as my family is liberal, you still see that subtle elements of ingrained, I don't want to use the word misogyny, but I'll use the word woman oppression. At a point in my life, I was considering schooling abroad. One of my parents was like, if you were a boy, it would have been another case. Nobody should be treated differently just because they have a different sex or them. There has to be some level of equity and fairness across gender.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Founders of Boubid Africa. I'm here with Zumah, founder of Boubid Africa.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, you're a busy lady, so.
And thank you for having me.
Oh, no, welcome. So, in your own words, what is Boubid Africa?
Okay, Boubid Africa is a growth strategy and management consultant firm. It was conceptualized out of the desire to bridge the lack of structure and process in the small and medium scale business space. We started out in 2018. When I was in the development finance space, and I discovered that a lot of the people we're trying to raise funds for, they don't have the structure required to achieve the kind of growth they desire and also assimilate the kind of fund that they're trying to access. She started as a side thing, to provide support for those companies to reach the level they need to be before they can access appropriate funds. And then over time, it became a full-time thing for me. And over the period, we've transitioned, added new products to the line, we've removed some products. And then now the vision is clearer. We want to be the first place of thoughts for new and emerging business solutions. New and emerging businesses in Africa. The idea is whatever business challenges you're having, you can talk to us about it, and then we can make them go away. Yeah. Or maybe introduce you to people that can make them go away.
That's great. What sector do you focus on? Technology?
I wouldn't say just technology. We work with a lot of technology companies, but we also work with brick and mortar businesses. The sector we focus on, so when we target in our market is small and medium-sized businesses that have money. Because initially when I started doing this full-time, we were targeting early-stage technology-focused business. And then we discovered a lot of them don't have the resources required to pay for our service. Yeah. And they were offering a lot of equity. And then they will offer you equity, and then you still have to drag them to come to the table to deliver their own part. Yeah. So at a point, we had to stop even if we offering equity, there has to be some level of cash and equity. Now, at the point we transitioned fully to, the bills are not going to pay themselves. It has to be fully cash back. Yeah. So our target is small and medium-sized businesses with not pre-revenue. That is post-revenue and looking to achieve some level of growth, some level of traction, some level of structure, or position themselves for bigger things.
That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. So before we go deeper into this, I want to pretty much talk about your past first. I want to talk about your nickname, Madam President, right? Before I even knew your name, I knew you as Madam President. And I would like to dive into that, So a lot of people call you that. Where did that stem from?
Okay. A few years back, I used to be an executive of my secondary school alumni group. And we were meant to have an election. And someone was like, a woman was indicated interest in contesting. And someone was like, no, a woman cannot contest. So what do you mean a woman cannot contest? I'm contesting. So that is where Madam President came from. I contested out of spite, you can't, what do you mean a woman can do this? And then it was fun. And we brought it home.
That's pretty cool.
So, Madam President, at your service.
Yeah, so after that, you just ran with the name.
Yeah, I love it. President. Well, people started calling me that, and it just kind of stuck.
Yeah, I think also what I've also noticed is that you're very structured,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like you have this focus where regardless of what's going on, you just want to execute on it. I think it's a great name. I think it fits you.
Thank you. So I think the being structured is a blessing. It's a strength and a weakness at the same time, because again, life is meant to be fluid. You're meant to be able to just be flexible, do things on the go. I still struggle with that, but I am who I am. I've embraced it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, nice. So before going into entrepreneurship, you were an accountant and also dabbled into fashion.
No, don't mix it up.
Okay.
I studied accounting.
Okay.
I never practiced as an accountant.
Okay.
I did work in a commercial bank, but I worked in customer service.
Okay.
E-business. I worked in e-business customer service.
Okay. I guess what we can talk about is women empowerment, right? I know that you're big on that. And you're also part of a foundation, Teens Africa. If you could speak a little bit about that.
Teen Nigeria.
Teens Nigeria.
The Entrepreneurship and Empowerment Initiative of Nigeria. It's a not-for-profit, non-governmental social enterprise that aims to advocate for entrepreneurship for women, youth, and children. So I was the founding executive secretary. I was a pioneer executive secretary of the organization. And it was one of the most impactful experiences of my life, because we were able to create real-time impact. And over time, we could see the effects of the impact we had created. And then I also sit on the board of Aspilos Foundation. It's a nonprofit that is focused on tech entrepreneurial education for women. So again, yes to women.
So I guess I'm trying to understand where that stems from. You've been a really big advocate for women, pretty much most of your career. Does that stem from the past or? Okay,
so I am a Northern woman. And as a Northern woman, there are peculiar restrictions, even beyond being a Northern woman. As a Nigerian woman, we have peculiar challenges. You are largely oppressed, and you get treated differently based on your gender. So for me, I've always been an advocate of, I come from a pretty liberal family. Most of the challenges a lot of women face, I didn't have to face them. I don't have to face them. But as much as my family is liberal, you still see that subtle elements of ingrained, I don't want to use the word misogyny, but I'll use the word woman oppression. I see it pop up. I can remember at a point in my life, I was considering schooling abroad. And then one of my parents was like, if you were a boy, it would have been another case. But you're a girl. So you see little things like that, and then let you understand that we need to keep advocating for nobody should be treated differently just because they have a different sex organ.
Yeah.
There has to be some level of equity and fairness across gender. So yeah.
Wow. Have you faced any pushback being an entrepreneur and working with Boubid Africa? Have you had any pushback in terms of you being a woman and sitting down with CEOs? Okay, so I could be blind to a lot of things. I largely don't process challenges. I see them as learning points, or maybe something to just walk around, something to just figure out. Have I encountered challenges based on my gender? Yes, I have, because there is a particular idea of what a career woman should be. And there are times where I don't fit that profile. I'm I'm not very young, but I look younger than I am. Oh, you're very young. Okay. So I look younger. And then you get into it when the question becomes, okay, so who is the person? Which I'm the person you're talking to, So you have to work twice as hard as a woman. You have to work thrice as hard as a younger woman trying to create impact. Yeah. Yeah. And then men will always be men. They will always try to, be funny towards you, but you have to also, not just men, even women. Even older women, even women your peers, they will also always try to cast aspersions on the fact that you are not there on marriage. You're probably there based on maybe nepotism or based, she's a fine girl, someone is interested in her. So you see random things like that pop up. But in situations like that, I don't even see them as challenges. I have kind of ingrained them. So I just smile and then I just prove
my capacity. Like, okay, no, it's not even about proving them wrong. I just prove my capacity. Like, okay, yeah, I've earned it. I can actually deliver in this role. So I used to have, I represented TIN on the inaugural board for University of Lagos Center for Entrepreneurship. And I used to have impostor syndrome. Largely
Really?
because, oh yes, I was the youngest person in the room. I mean, I was in the room with professors, VCs, patrons and matrons of industries. And then I typically don't contribute anything. I just listen. And there was a day the chair of the of the board had a chat to me like, Zumah, you were not here out of tokenism. You're here because we've seen what you've done and we know you can actually create impact here. And that kind of like changed my perspective on my control. I just became a bit louder and started contributing my bit.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So what would you say to women who are also facing those challenges within their field?
Don't make your gender an excuse. Challenges will always come. Those peculiar challenges will always come. You don't need to magnify it. You just prove your worth and set your boundaries and be willing to walk away when respect is not being served.
So you're also the founder of Naija Meals NG. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about that?
Okay, so I am a foodie. Like, I love food. Food makes me happy. When I soft moved to Lagos, I used to stay in hotels, and then I am a very picky eater. I want to eat traditional. I want meals that feel like they were made with love. Meals that feels like it was made from home. I want meals that reminds me of my grandmother or my mother. Like, okay, and it was always a struggle. You know, I wake up Saturday morning, I want pap and akara. And they'd be like, you go and buy one weird looking akara. So I'm like, no, this is not what I want.
You say pap and akara?
Oh, yes.
Oh my God, I miss those days.
You need to have Nigerian meals before you go.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, you know, I wake up sometimes, I just want masa and all of that. And then it's always a challenge. And then I was talking to my co-founder on Nigerian meals. So I was lamenting that I was always going to friends' house to bake for food. Like, okay, are you cooking? What are you cooking today? Can I come over? Can you send me food? You know, and then I was lamenting to a friend, and then he was like, you're always talking about this. Why don't you make a business out of it? You can set up a kitchen, you know, and I was like, okay, that sounds good. And then we kept on talking about it. We didn't do anything about it for another 6 months. And I was still staying in hotels whenever I'm in, and I was still eating food I don't like, you know, and still begging for food. And then one day we're like, okay, we need to get this rolling now. And then here we are. So Nigerian Meal is a cloud kitchen that offers traditional Nigerian meals at an affordable price point. So yeah.
And you partner with a lot of delivery services.
Oh yes, we're in Glovo, we're in Child Deck, we're in a lot of, and then we also do real-time delivery.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what challenges have you faced in the entrepreneurial space, and how have you overcome those challenges?
Okay, one thing with whatever space you find yourself, wahala no dey finish. There's always something new to do. As you're overcoming one, another one is popping up. So I would say it is balancing work life. You know, I am very big on life, you know, but I also like money. so have the time, and then I have this idea of I attach work streams to different activities. I want to go on vacation now. Like, where is the money coming from? This is the entrepreneurial endeavor that is bringing the finances for this. So I want to buy a bag. It's like, okay, where is this money coming from? This is coming from this point. So sometimes I tend to overstretch myself professionally, which sometimes affects my personal life. Yeah. But I'm trying to be a bit more balanced, you know, trying to do more life. I became more intentional about my enjoyment.
Like what type of enjoyment?
I'm not going to talk about that.
I want to know.
No, not on camera. We can talk about that later. Okay. But yeah, so I became more intentional about my enjoyment. I became more intentional about spending time with the people I care about. So yeah, I think I have relatively conquered that, if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
Another challenge is okay, I am largely led by curiosity, right? So I start something, I start building it, and then when I feel like I have created the maximum impact, I want to move on to something else. And I am also largely led by curiosity. I'm curious about something. I want to work at it. Like today I was talking to someone, and what your firm does is to provide ad hoc staff for organizations. So say someone is about to resign your organization. Person's giving you 1 day or 2 days notice. And then there's no one that has the capacity to do the person's role. There's no one you can put on that. So they just provide an interim staff so you're able to work. I'm like, okay, that's an interesting business. But I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that next. And it just needs to create a pool of people, competent people, maybe meet managers that they can fill in roles for that. So that's a challenge I've always had. Continuity, saying something. So I just want to build, get to a point and just let it be. And I think consulting gives me that opportunity to work on different things at different times. So my curiosity is likely satisfied.
So as a serial entrepreneur, pretty much working on these other endeavors that you have, where do you see yourself in the future? What's the direction and the story that you want to be told of Zumah?
I want to be remembered as someone who lived fully and who explored our curiosity to the last and created as much impact as possible while at it. And where do I see myself in the future? Living in my waterfront house, going fishing in the morning, living the good life, eating fresh food, and just generally. I would love to have a flower shop, by the way, with a cafe in front. Something low vibrational, and just see nice, cute people doing their thing.
With Papa Nakara?
No. We're going to do it. And yes, we can actually serve Papa Nakara, but there will be masa too. Masa and
nice.
Sauce.
I don't think I've ever had masa. That's nice.
Oh, I would love to send you some.
Oh, please. I would love to have it. Yeah. But thank you. Thank you so much for coming on board. I really appreciate it. I know, obviously, you're busy. But thank you so much for coming.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's always nice talking about what we're doing and then what we hope to do.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.